G'day fellas, welcome to another shed night, and tonight is a special night. It's always good when there's boys and men getting together to tell their stories, but today's different in that it's not a shed night. We've actually opened up a new one, and this one's at Woody Point, and our special guest today is Margaret Watson. Hello Margaret.
Hi John.
G'day Ian, how are you mate?
We're very sneaky, aren't we?
Oh, I don't know. But Margaret, how many years have you been married to Ian?
47, this December.
47 years. And how long have you known Ian?
Since I was 15.
15.
So that's 51 years.
51 years. Do you remember the first day you met him?
I do. Very clearly. He was dancing with 3 girls and with his usual personality out there, and I was just sitting shyly along the side of this hall, and he looked over and saw me, and then he came over and asked me to dance with him. I felt really special.
So from 3 to 1?
Yeah, that's right, that's what I thought.
So has Ian always been the same?
Personality? Yes.
Same personality?
Same personality, yeah.
And so you got married, whirlwind romance?
No. Well, it took us a while to get married.
Yep.
We didn't get married till we were 20 and 21.
Yep.
Because he was a bit too scared to get married.
So Ian, you were scared, were you? No, that's all right. That's been real. But
well, his football mates told him that marriage is not really good.
Yeah.
You know, you get tied down and all those sort of things, and it cost a lot of money. So I had to really persevere and say, "Come on, it's time."
It's time.
Yeah.
Well, 47 years this year, how has Ian changed or matured through marriage?
I'd say mainly through being a father. That's changed him more than anything, because for about 8 years he was number one, you know, in my life. And then once we started having children, well, things changed a bit, because I chose to be, my career was motherhood, and so that's 24/7. And there were things that I thought he could have done for himself that I used to do for him because he was a man. But by the time we had 3 children, he was not so happy because he was feeling like number 4.
So he was number 4, and what happened with him dropping down the ranks?
Well, we sort of did pretty much our own thing. He had his own world and I had mine, and we just sort of started going like this in different directions. Still married, still had good relationship, but our interests were different.
Yeah. So what did Ian have any crucial men or significant men in his life at that time?
Yeah, he had lots of men in his life, always had.
But
not
at that
not
time,
all, not all good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always, what I could see in looking back now, I could see that he was always looking for affirmation.
Yep.
From someone, a man, and it really wasn't until he received that affirmation from God that he was settled.
Yeah.
But it took men to help him to get to that point.
So you were going your path, and you were going to church, and you had significant women in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So how important were they for you?
Oh, really very important. There was one lady in particular named Gladys, and I used to have a bit of a whinge to Gladys about Ian, and you know, say he wasn't doing this and he wasn't doing that, and she'd say, "You just have to love him." And she was just such a beautiful, loving woman, and she'd just love men. You just love them into the kingdom. And so I took her advice.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
Now, Ian had Ted Prenzler in his life. George.
Gladys's husband George.
Yep.
He was very significant too in Ian's life, and Ted.
And George could talk about the worldly stuff.
Yeah, he could talk about football and fishing and horses and all those sort of things, blokey stuff.
Now, what did Ted do for for Ian?
Well, Ted was like a horse breaker, breaking the horse in, because Ted had a group of elders, and a lot of them were new Christians, and a bit wild, very wild actually, and so they were like young colts, unbroken, and Ted had to really work hard with them. But he did that with love as well.
But Ted also took a chance and put Ian into eldership as well, didn't he?
Yep, that's right.
And how did that affect Ian?
Oh, I think he would have felt accepted. I think that would have really meant a lot to him at that time.
So a significant purpose and a challenge,
Yeah.
and being affirmed by an older man.
Yes,
giving
someone
him a task.
someone who he looked up to.
Oh,
Yep.
that's fantastic. Now, fellas, we're down in Warrambewey at the moment. Well, not physically there, but we're allowing God to get into our hearts. But Margaret, when do you think that Ian actually allowed God to open his heart up? And what I'm trying to say is, when do you think Ian got it out of his head and into his heart?
Well, I saw when that happened, because he'd been away on a men's camp with a group of men from our congregation, and when they drove up our driveway, he was in a car with a lot of other blokes, and when he got out of the car, he was different. He didn't say anything. I just knew something had happened, and he was different. So the Spirit of God had done something, and he was, changed, just like that.
But he was with a body of men.
He was, yeah.
That's
And
it.
challenged at the men's camp.
Mm. Now, what was that like for you as his wife and as a woman, for him stepping up and taking hardship or headship of the family?
It was fantastic. That's what I always wanted. Right from when I first met him. But I always sensed that it would happen.
Yeah.
I had that promise from God actually when I was quite young, so I knew it would happen.
Yeah. And the patience.
Yep. I had to be changed as well.
Yeah. But from being different parts,
Yeah.
the Spirit of God's brought you back together.
Definitely.
Now, I want to go, with your permission, into another area of life. Mm-hmm. And can we talk football?
No.
No. Now, Ian has many loves of his life. The first is you. And he verbalises that a lot, and I've seen and I've heard how he speaks about you, and that's actually helped change me. But you know, he loves his boys, he loves their wives, he loves his grandchildren, but Carlton is his passion as well. What's he really like when the mighty Blues actually lose?
Well, he carries on a bit, but a lot of it's acting. He's a good actor because it's good fun. You know, people can have a go at him or say they're with him, and he just loves that. So he uses his football interest. It's different now. It used to be pretty much his God at times,
Yeah.
but now it's in the right perspective, and he uses it as a connector, as a way to socialise, good fun, just to relax, just to watch it, and it's in a different place now.
So he doesn't really...
But he's okay, he's fine.
He doesn't really drop his bottom lip when they lose?
No.
And sulk and mope around the house?
No, he doesn't.
Finally, Margaret, we'll wrap this up. As an encourager of men, Ian does a fantastic job, but how does he encourage you?
Well, he's encouraged me from the first minute we met.
Yeah.
Because if you know the love languages, mine is words of affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
and he's an expert at that. and he just tells me wonderful things all the time. So they call it a bucket, you know, the love bucket. Mine's full with words of affirmation, and so it's great.
So what does this larger than life, big, beautiful man mean to you?
Ah, gee, to ask me that. Well, after God, everything. 47 years of being married, and he's just so many facets of his personality. It's just wonderful, and I just love every part of him. And I'll put this pink top on because it's his favourite colour.
So what would you like to say to Ian right now?
Well, the name Ian means God is gracious. And I know God's been so gracious to me to bring you into my life. God's the giver of all good gifts. Every good and perfect gift comes from him, and you are the greatest gift that God's given me. And have a wonderful time at Warrambewey.
Margaret, thank you. We're going to have to cut soon because I'm tearing up. But Margaret, on behalf of all of the blokes down at Warrambewey, all of the blokes through the Shed movement, you know, their wives and their children, thank you for encouraging Ian. Thank you for supporting him and allowing him to travel all over this country to encourage us guys and to actually help us stand up. But Margaret, thank you so much. And I know this isn't much, but thank you on behalf of all the guys.
Thank you, John. Love you too.
Thank you. Okay. See you later, fellas. Bye.
Click on the red.
Yep.